Welcome everybody to the bills versus expenses training video for Contractor Foreman. And purpose of this video is to cover the differences between expenses in Contractor Foreman and bills in Contractor Foreman. We find a lot of time new users or even some experienced users will kind of confuse the two, which if you do use expenses improperly, it will throw off your job costing. So this is, if you're not 100% clear on the difference between expenses and bills, pretty important video to watch here. So our expenses are really things that are unexpected, things that come up on the job that here, I'll open one up. Uh, it's an expense that was unforeseen. I also kind of a more technical term for them actually is a miscellaneous expense. And what I mean by that is a miscellaneous expense is, I'd like to use a simple analogy of the crew did a fantastic job that week and you wanted to buy everybody lunch. You don't have that accounted for in an estimate, so that's a miscellaneous expense. It wasn't something that was budgeted for, wasn't planned on. It was just an expense that came up. It can be materials that had to be replaced, ran a little bit short, things like that. So just unforeseen things that cost money on a project. Not to be confused, I'm saying don't use a change order because we have zero cost change orders. So, I say if it's a couple of $100 unforeseen expense, go ahead and use the miscellaneous expense. But if it gets much more over a couple of $100, go ahead and do a no cost change order. That is the correct way to do that. But here we're going to focus on the difference between expenses and bills. So I'm going to start off by just jumping over to an estimate that I've got pulled up here. Get rid of the main menu. Easy example here. We've got material, protection materials, and we've got our cost code over here. This line item should be accounted for using a purchase order because it's materials. So you'll have created a purchase order with this line item on it. Then as that company that you issued the purchase order to, Acme Supply, wants to get paid, they're going to send you an invoice and you're going to pay that using the bills in Contractor Foreman. And that will account back and do all your accounting that says, hey, the original purchase order was for $1,000 and we paid them 200, so we have 800 remaining, etc. And that's what the bills is for. So anything to do with purchase orders and subcontracts, when they send you invoices, you want to pay that using a bill. The smaller unforeseen things, like I was saying, bought the crew lunch, you had to buy some gun nails because you ran short. That is when you want to use the miscellaneous expenses. Now, we do call them expenses here, and I keep using the term miscellaneous expenses. A really easy way to do that, change the name of that, is to click your gear button up in the upper right. Remember, every module in Contractor Foreman has that gear button. Come into the very top section and just call that miscellaneous expenses. So I just go miscellaneous expenses. And then I can save that and it will actually change the name in the main menu to miscellaneous expenses and everywhere else in the program that expenses is referenced. Now jumping over to a project to show you the difference between the two as well is in your financials in a project. I'm in that same project. Here's my financial section. See, I haven't paid any bills here, but I do have two expenses. So Contractor Foreman does break out expenses. It does report and record on expenses. It does put it toward your actual cost. So it is all included in your overall budgeting. It's just that these also tie into your purchase orders and your subcontracts. So I hope that helped point out the difference of when you should use an expense and when you should use a bill. Any questions, give us a holler. Thanks, everybody.